Welcome to the channel tribe. In this session of TTT Virtual Meetup, we are having Ambika Kulkarni discussing on freelancing as a career for testers.
Let me just introduce you our speaker, which is Ambika Kulkarni. So,
Hey there.
welcome you, Ambika, and it's an
Thank you.
honor to have you here. Just a
It's
quick
my pleasure.
Just a quick intro about Ambika. Ambika has been a freelance software tester for over 12 years now, and she has an overall experience of 17 years in the software testing industry. Ambika is an expert in cross-browser compatibility and usability testing. It's a real honor to have you here on this very insightful topic. I hope you guys find it insightful. So I hand it over to you, Ambika, to talk about freelancing as a career for testers. The stage is yours,
Thank you.
Ambika.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so first of all, thank you, the Test Drive community, Manish, and you all. It's a real pleasure and an honor for me as well to be here, to be speaking here, guiding everyone. And I'm happy that I can be of some help to the community, contribute in a small way to the people. And it's my honor actually. Thank you, everyone. So we'll get started right away, I think. Yeah, I'll share my screen. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, great. So please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, great. Okay, so a little introduction about me first. So my name is Ambika Kulkarni. I'm from Hyderabad. I am a full-time freelancer now in software testing, but I also freelance in other fields. So I will not call myself completely as freelance software tester. I'm just a freelancer for that matter. So I have been working with an MNC for 5.5 years before I started with freelancing. So right now, freelancing is what I do full time. And yeah, that's about it. I think I will also share a lot of stories uh, about me, about my journey, about how it all started. So you can correlate and it will help you start. So we'll start with the session now. So here's what you get in the session today. So we'll have introduction. We'll see about my journey. We'll see about the approaches that you can use to start, where exactly to start, how to start, the types of platforms, how the platforms work, how you can get projects, or how do we sustain being a freelancer. And of course, the one of the most important parts is the money. How is the earning involved? How is it compared to full time? How can you do part time or full time? And a little tips and tricks that will help us to sustain long term in the freelancing career, and do's and don'ts. Okay, so coming to next. So before digging deep into how freelancing works, a little introduction on what is freelancing. So if we go by the dictionary meaning, so freelance worker is someone who's self-employed, or he's an independent worker who earns on a per job or a per task basis. We freelancers are not committed to a single client. We can work for multiple clients. So freelancing nowadays has become most sought after options as a full-time and a part-time career. I'm not very sure about the statistics, but last time I heard or I read that in India now it's about more than 15 million freelancers in India. So over the next coming 5 to 10 years, the figure might get double fold. So it is kind of a very, very hot and trending field that people want to jump in. So that's why I'm here to help you out. And I think I can do justice to the session today. So, why do you think freelancing is or is becoming the most trending topic, or why is it the most hot field to be in? So, if you all are here today, that means you know why freelancing is good. Okay. Yes, it is flexible. You can get to your own boss. You have the independence to choose between what kind of work you can do. You, yes, money is also important. Exactly. You see, everyone here knows everything. So, yes, there are a lot of advantages, but there are also some limitations to it. And that's why I'm here for to tell you about my experiences and the little limitations that we might or might not have. Again, it depends on your own journey, how you handle it. There are a lot of risks involved, but the advantages are a little more than the risks. Yes, work-life balance also. Oh my God, we're getting a lot of comments here, right? Okay, great. So we will definitely discuss this everything in detail in the coming sessions. Coming slides, and we also get to know uh, tips as to how do we choose now to become a full-time freelancer or to continue with part-time. There are some parameters which you as an individual you have to decide yourselves depending on the time you have, the skills you have, and the flexibility that you might have. So that will help you choose in freelancing as a full-time or a part. Now going next. Okay, now my journey. My journey till now has been very, very nice. It was a very interesting one for me, of course. So I worked with an MNC earlier before starting my freelancing career. I worked for about 5.5 years there. I quit because of some personal priorities. Then came the real drama. I didn't have to work full time, but then again I started searching from that time. So I didn't even know that not know, actually, I can say the term freelance or freelancer was not very popular. I'm talking this about some 12 years back. So people were not very much into freelancing. They were not very, the platforms that we have now were not very popular. They were just starting in India. Of course, they were quite popular in the Western countries, in US or UK. People knew a lot more than what we know now. So I used to search for work from home jobs. So then came the search started. I went along and we had, I think I came across U-Test first, then came to Upwork. Upwork was that time Odesk. Uh, then that's how it started. I did a couple of projects, then uh, started the decided the switch that okay fine, this suits me, this suits my time, this suits my priorities, and okay, we'll continue this. But this I think the first project that I got was, it took me 18 not 8 maybe 8 months or so for to get the first small project on Otis. So it took a lot of hard work, a lot of research, a lot of time in getting into freelancing. So that's, I think, enough about me for now. So we'll proceed. Okay, so now coming to the actual topic here. So what types of platforms do we have now? Freelancing now has become very popular in India also. It was not very sought after by the people here because people used to think that nothing such kind as freelancing exists. Believe me, I went through all of that when I started my freelancing career because earlier back in the days it used to be like we used to get flyers and advertisements that work from home as such remote work only involves data entry and BPO kind of work. So people didn't know exactly that even technical jobs like these, testing or development or writing or any such sort, can be done from home, can be done on a freelance basis. So I had to, it was very tough for me to explain people that no, I actually work from home. I actually work on testing projects. So people, when they ask me, what do you do? I simply put it up as I work from home. I didn't say I freelance. So it took a lot of time for people to understand how that goes, and I used to explain what actually I do. So that went into that. So now over the coming years, even the platforms have increased. We have a lot more platforms than we had earlier now. People are not the clients are preferring freelancers more now because of the cost, because of the flexibility they also will have. The cost I say because now we see from the last few years, startup trend is a lot catching up. So when we say startups, we obviously have to say that they have a cash crunch. So they kind of prefer people whom they can hire for a little time, make have the job done, and finish it up. They don't have to hire them as a full-time employee, give them the benefits, go through the entire time-taking interview process, hiring process, and that's why they prefer the small tasks to be done by different people. They also get to have different perceptions or different uh, kind of what do I say? Kind of work done by different people. So that's how even clients are preferring for freelancers. So now coming to what types of platforms we have for freelancers. They are basically, I would categorize them into these three types. The first one is the pure freelancing platforms where you do not have, uh, what do I say, restriction that I can work only on a single type of project. Now I'm a tester. So it's not necessary that on these type of platforms that we have, Upwork, Freelancer, People per Hour, again, these are not the only platforms that we have. There might be hundreds of others, but I have myself over the years worked on a few of these things from the list here. So I have worked mostly on Upwork and Freelancer. Freelancer and People per Hour. I know they're genuine. They do pay you. They have a lot of projects. But personally, I did not work on those platforms. Okay. So coming to the types of the definition of these types of platforms. So Upwork, Freelancer, Freelancer, these kind of platforms are purely freelancing platforms where clients put their projects or they post their projects, they hire freelancers. The contract is open, the contract is executed on these platforms. You work on the project, the contract ends, you get paid, and that's it. So at a time, you can have multiple contracts open. At a time, you can work with multiple clients. Even the clients at a time can post it. It's you can just say it's just kind of your Naukri.com or Monster.com. Is Monster.com still there? I'm not sure. Not quite used any of those, but it's kind of that. So clients come, they post their requirements, they post their projects. You go there, you search, you apply to them, and the contract starts. Okay, so I will go in detail about each of these now. So before going in detail, I will just quickly summarize what each of the type does. Okay, so we're done with these freelancing platforms, right? So coming to the crowdsourcing platforms. Now, what is the difference between the crowdsourcing platform and the normal freelance? So for freelance platforms, the platform as such, like we have Upwork. Now, Upwork will not take the responsibility of the client or client's work. Okay, the client comes, he posts his requirements, he gets the freelancer, he hires them, the work is done. The up- platforms like Upwork, they are only bothered about the process as such. Like, is the contract being opened? Is the payment done on time? Is the freelancer working on time? Is he billing right? That's it. They don't get into the technicalities of what the actual job is, what the freelancer is actually working on. They are just manage the overall process of the work there. Okay, so now coming to crowdsourcing platforms. Crowdsourcing. What is crowdsourcing? Crowdsourcing is nothing but giving its crowdsourcing is now specific for testers. This might be of a great interest for testers because these are now getting a lot of praise, recognition, and interest from the testing community. So what goes on here is the customer comes with his app or application or the website, his product to get tested, and it will be tested by a large audience. So the customer might be having the test coverage that he he has to test the app on maybe 100 devices or maybe 100 kinds of operating systems. So he will not have, it will not be a good idea for him to go on Upwork and then post a project and hire hundreds of freelancers. So that job is now managed by crowdsourcing platforms like Testlio, Utest, Digivante, Primes, and we also have 99 tests. I think Bugs for Hire. There are a lot of them now, crowdsourcing platforms. So here, the platform as such is responsible or is directly communicating with the client and with the freelancer. They are kind of the middleman between the freelancer and the customer. So the platforms here, like we have Testlio or Utest, they manage what are the test cases that are to be executed, who are the freelancers that they need to hire. So the platforms here in the crowdsourcing platforms, they are kind of responsible for getting the task done. Next comes the usability testing. This is, for personally, I feel this is a very interesting kind of platforms that are getting more, what do I say, more interest. These are kind of, what happens here is it's kind of similar to the crowdsourcing platform, but this is specifically for usability testing experience. So what happens is we have video-based user experience testing here. So what happens is the client prefers more of a video-based experience testing. So what do I mean by that? So the client comes, he posts his requirement on the platforms. Now, what the platform and the clients expect from the freelancer is they go through the website or the app that they are testing and record their own video uh, talking about the user experience. They might give a small test case or the complete app in itself, and the freelancer has to talk their way out, explaining their user experience as a real end user, what they feel about that entire flow. So that's how it goes in usability testing. Now we will cover something in more detail about the platforms which I have personally worked on, and I know that they are genuine. They pay you well. They pay you on time. I did not face any kind of problems or let's say conflicts with the clients uh, working on these platforms. So I think, but again, there is a word of caution in everything that you do. You will have to have go through or what is it, test or Now see that the client is genuine and decide yourself. How much ever I tell you what to do and how to do, it again boils down to your individual perception of how much you can work and what time you can work, what kind of project you can work. So again, it's on an individual basis. So the things that I'm going to tell today, they are all my personal experiences. It's not a Bible. So you can go through, you will have to test them, check them yourselves, go through the sites, explore them, check them yourselves, how that goes. Does it suit you? Does it suit your priorities? Does it suit your commitments? And then decide. Okay, so we'll go in detail with everything now. Not everything actually. I will go in detail with a couple of them here. I have till now worked majorly on Upwork, on Testlio, on Digivante for some time, and on Utest. Utest I used to work very during the initial days, but timings didn't match, so I kind of left it. So coming to Upwork now. I'm sure how there will be a lot of people here who might have worked on Upwork because I saw in the attendees a lot of people's profiles said they are freelance testers. So if you have worked on Upwork earlier and if I missed out something, please do let us know in the comments and we'll definitely share that with everyone. Okay, so coming to Upwork now, I think from my experience, Upwork has by far been the best platform to work on. It's my favorite because it's my first. The first ones are always favorite, always. So they have very easy process, very easily understandable terminology that we have. You don't have to go through a dictionary or you don't have to go much in detail with their articles or how to articles, FAQs to understand how they work. So basically, what happens is, as I told you, the client posts their projects, you as a freelancer bid, and if the client suits, if you suit the client's requirements, they hire you. So going in more detail about how that works. So basically on Upwork, there are two kinds of projects. One is a fixed price and one is hourly based. So what are fixed price projects? Fixed price as in the client has a fixed budget for his project. He can or cannot go beyond that project budget. And the second one is hourly based. So you how do you track hourly based? So you only bill how much you work. Let's say the project can go for about 5 hours, and you start your time and you bill only for 5 hours or 4 hours. So you are paid only for the number of hours that you work on the project. So how is that tracked? So that is tracked by Upwork's own time tracker. They have their own time tracking app, time tracking system, wherein when you start the app, when you actually start working, it takes the screenshots of your screen and it gets uploaded to your profile on that project's contract. Okay, so contract. Now, before getting into everything else, how does a contract start on Upwork? For that, let me share this. Okay, you can see this. The left one is a screenshot from Upwork's uh, project find work page. Okay, so what is done here? You can see there are two types of projects as I mentioned. This is an hourly base. So the clients gives the title, description, what kind of skills he is looking for, how many proposals are there on the job, that is different thing. The client's previous rating, if he's verified or not, how much money he has spent, and the location. So here, if you see, we have got the hourly price. This price has been set by the client, not by the freelancer. Okay, the client sets his price because he's looking for a freelancer who has an hourly rate of minimum of 15 and maximum of 20. This and the next type, the fixed price one. He has the estimated budget of this. So that's how they post. Now, after the client posts, the hiring is done in two types. Type one, the client posts their projects. They search for freelancers themselves and they hire them. The second type, the clients post their projects. The freelancers themselves, they bid on the projects. Then the client goes over their profiles, filters them, sorts them, and I'm sorry, is there an issue with this slide? Okay, okay. So the client can. Is there an issue, Joseph?
No, it looks good. Only the screenshots kind of blurry, so.
Oh yes, I actually even I had a problem pasting it because they were quite big. So
Yeah, that should be okay.
that should be okay. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So the next type, the freelancers themselves, they bid on the projects. The client takes the interviews. Now, how are the interviews done here? You might ask. So there is a process called invitations to interview. When the client sends you, suppose I'm freelancer, I start with Upwork by bidding. Bidding is nothing but applying for that project. Okay, you apply for the project, you write a cover letter. In the application, what goes in is you write your cover letter, how much you are willing to bid, or what is your hourly rate, or if a project is a fixed price one, you bid as to you can do in an increased budget or a decreased budget. And whatever your CV or your previous work experiences, everything is mentioned in the cover letter. Okay. So you bid on the project, you send the application. If the clients like it, they might send you an invitation for interview. That means you are one of the shortlisted candidates for that job. So how is all this communication happening between you and the client? So Upwork has something called as messaging system in their platform. So all the communication that happens, you send the client sends you messages, or you send them about any kind of talk that happens about the terms, the pricing, everything that you speak with the client is through the messaging feature. So nowadays they also have the call feature, the video call feature, but it again depends on the clients. Like if they would want to have a call over messages on Upwork, or usually they will prefer Zoom or Meet or any other video calling. Okay, so that's how the communication happens. Now, after the clients like your profile, they think you're suitable for it, they will hire. Now, how will the hiring happen? They will start a contract. Okay, they will start a contract between you and them as a client on Upwork. So, as I said, Upwork is there. Upwork is the platform which will manage as entirety, as everything related to the process. Now, what actually you do as a tester, how the thing goes on, like what are the details that the customer will share, or where you test, or the bills, or everything, that communication is very project specific, that you will have to ask the client, and the communication can go on Upwork or outside Upwork. But the contract should be done on Upwork for you to get paid there. Okay, you might, I have come across many clients like that. They post on Upwork and then they message you and they say, we will work outside Upwork. There is a word of caution again here for such kind of customers. Not every customer talking like that is genuine. You can trust them only if you know them. But otherwise, if you want to have the surety to get paid, please work via Upwork, because they have the process of conflict management if something happens in the future. So have your contracts through Upwork, and that's how it is, no, very sure that you will get paid. Okay, so to know another tip again, do not start working on the project unless the client starts your contract. Never do that. Again, I have a lot of experiences like this where the client will tell you, okay, you start working. We will start the contract next week. No, up front, you say them, no, you will start the contract. We'll go paper wise, everything officially. Then I will start. It's never bad to say no. Don't say it in a rude way, say it politely. But please learn to say no to things you cannot do it. And this is the thing that you should never ever do it. Don't start working unless you start a contract on anything for that matter, not only Upwork, even freelancers. On freelancer also they have something like a contract system where the client agrees to the rate. They acknowledge that they will pay you at this rate. They will pay you for these number of hours. They will pay you for these number of days or the milestones that you agree to work on. Okay, so that was for the contract. And now another thing. Now, how will these kinds of platforms earn? Now you are earning because the client is paying you. How will these platforms earn? They have to stay in business, right? So how are these people earning? Now whatever you earn or whatever the client pays you, for suppose there is a fixed price project. Okay, it's about $50 or $100. So Upwork will charge you 20% or 10% depending on the type of client of the fees that the client pays you. And he will also Upwork also charges the client. So it's kind of a double income for Upwork that they're charging you and the client both some percentage of fees. So that's how you keep earning and Upwork keeps earning. It same thing happens with the other platforms also, right? So they have to stay in business. So that's how they do it. Okay. So okay, few more things that I personally like about Upwork. Upwork also allows you to start an agency. Now, what is an agency? Agency is something like small, maybe consultancy, you can call it, where you and some group of other members, you start a small agency, you work together, you bid on projects or you work on projects as a company there. Okay, the client will hire you as a company. So that's also I also had tried with a couple of friends, but ultimately that couldn't go on very well because I had restrictions to manage the times and all. So anyways, that you can try that yourself if you're comfortable working and handling people. So people management skills will help you here. Okay, so now how does the process after the work is done on that particular project? What next? So you work, the client likes it, you close the topic. You close the topic as in the client closes the contract. The client gives you rating, even you get to rate the client. So it's two-way. It's not that only the client rates you. Okay, you also get to rate the client, so that that rating appears on both the profiles, on your profile as a freelancer and on the profile of the client as well. So we saw here, you can see the star rating here for the two types of projects. So this client, he has previously he spent some money hiring freelancers. He has already existing projects. So, but the freelancers haven't given him any rating yet. So if you come to this one, freelancers have already rated him. So this is something similar to what appears on your own profile also. But this payment method verified is only for the clients. Again, one more thing to note here when applying for projects on Upwork, look out for this thing, payment verified or not. Uh, it is mandatory for customers on Upwork to verify their payment method because that's how the payment goes through. So if they haven't had done this verification of payment, it's again a little word of caution there. Look out for that and see for the previous reviews, ratings, how has the customer fared in other projects, other in working with other freelancers. So if they've got really bad reviews, no ratings, no payment method verified, don't go for it. You can have other projects to apply. Okay, now uh, please let me know if I'm going too fast because I have a lot more to cover, but I think the time is not so much. So if I'm going too fast, let me know. Okay, then coming to next, the test view. For the above freelancing platforms, Upwork is my favorite. Freelancer, okay, it was good, but not very preferred projects on there, so I didn't choose that. Upwork is the best. You can just blindly close your eyes and start working there. There is absolutely no issue. Okay, so coming to, we'll quickly go through again. I have a lot more to cover. Okay, Testlio. Again, for the crowdsourcing platforms, this is my favorite of all the crowdsourcing platforms. It's a wonderful, wonderful community. They have got very good people. It's specific to testing. Again, they have both the kinds of projects, automation and manual. This is specially for testers, managed by testers. The person who started this, Testio Crystal, she was a tester herself, and she's a wonderful human being. The same values are, across the community with all the team leads, with all the test managers they have. So how does Testio work? You test 99 uh, bugs and everything. They work per bug model, pay per bug model, or pay per test case models. Like as I said, the client posts their projects. You are invited to the project if you have the matching device and the matching profile. Okay. Now, Testlio. What is different about Testlio? Testlio pays per hour model. Even it is a crowdsourcing platform. They also get projects which are tested and managed by a large audience, a large crowd. But here, in Testlio, we get to interact directly with the test leads. They invite us to the project. We work there and they pay by hour, not by buck. So the disadvantage that the other platforms like UTest or 99 Test that have is you start working on something. If you don't log a bug, you're not, you don't get paid. So it's kind of that all your effort. Of course, you get to learn by looking at the other bugs that are logged, the process, how is the methodology used by other testers and all. But earning wise, I think Testlio is a short thing where you are paid by the number of hours that you work on the tasks that they have. So how is that decided as to how much time that takes to complete a task? It is decided by their own team leads. They have their own set of test cases. The testing goes by test case approach, or if it is exploratory, also they kind of assume, or they know that this certain feature or this certain app takes that amount of time. So that's how it is. Done. Okay. So again, usability, I think it's more very clear. We'll quickly skip to the next one. Okay. So where to start? Now, where to start? Start with registering on these platforms first. Second thing, the most important thing about any kind of platform is you have a very clear, very good profile on the platforms. Be as much clear as you can. Mention the devices that you have. The thing with the crowdsourcing platforms is if you have more devices, the chances that you get projects is more. Now, you might have one iOS device, one Android tablet, one gaming laptop, one the normal laptop, one Mac. So the more number of devices, the more number of types of operating systems, the more better for you. It doesn't mean that if you have just two. I started with just one Android phone, but I think I did pretty well there. So, but it's definitely an advantage if you have more number of devices. Third thing, set your availability. Nowadays, almost all the platforms ask for your availability, like how many hours per week or how many days in a week you are available to take up the projects. So be very, very specific on that. Uh, Analyze your own time, analyze your priorities, like how much time you can spend on the platforms, how much time you can spend on freelancing, and then set it, and that will be easier for you and the clients to approach you. Okay. Now, fourth one being choose the type of packages. Now, Upwork is definitely free. You don't have to pay a thing to register, but there is a funda there for connects. Now, what are connects? Connects is when you apply for projects, they charge you by connects. Connects is kind of, it's not money, but kind of tokens that you will have to spend when you apply for projects. So when you apply for one project, it might use two connects, three connects. So by default, when you register, I think they will give you about 10 connects or so. So eventually, if you run out of connects there, you will have to buy those connects by paying. And Upwork also has plans to upgrade your profile to a paid one, where they'll have a lot more support. uh, the charge that they charge you, right, for the payment, that's less, and your profile visibility will be better and so on. I never paid. I'm not a paid member for Upwork, but it works without being a paid member also. Even Freelancer has paid packages. So decide if you want to continue with free packages or upgrade yourself. I would suggest go for free packages in the start. There's no need to upgrade eventually. You can decide later if you're not getting projects and all. Okay. Fifth thing is keep an eye on the platforms. Whenever you register, you might start receiving invites. You might start receiving invites for runs, for projects, for invitation to interviews, everything. Okay, so keep an eye on the email. I would suggest you to have a separate email. That's what I do. Have my separate email to register on these platforms so that all the mails are there in a single email thing. Yes. Now the pressing question: full time or part time? It depends on individuals' time. First thing, obviously, what I would suggest is go for smaller steps first. Start with part time, see how it goes, explore the platforms, go in detail as to how does that work. I telling everything, I don't think it's possible to tell everything in a single session, but you yourself, you go there, you try out how the application works or how the bidding works, how the projects are, what kind of projects are there on the platforms, how Testia works or how you test works for that matter. So you go there, you try it out on yourself, and then decide if you want to switch from part-time to full-time or stay with part-time or stay with full-time. Second thing, the most important thing, do not rush, please. It's a very common mistake that everybody does. Now learn something new, we go out there and we just start bombarding it with a lot of our effort. Now I've mentioned Upwork. Now I've experienced this with a lot of my friends. They go out there, they register, and in one day they will apply to all the jobs that are there, and eventually they'll drain out their connects, and again they have to pay to buy those connects. So don't do that. Only apply to those projects which you think you can do it, which you think will fit your skills. Most importantly, now you cannot go and apply on any development project, right? So same thing even for a testing project. See, if the client is asking that he has a requirement for 40 hours a week and you are only available on weekends, so it doesn't suit you. But still, chalo, we'll see how it goes. No, don't do that. It will eventually waste your time and the customer's time also, right? So now the last one was the same thing. Jump only after analyzing all the parameters, right? Money matters. This is the most important thing for us. One of the most important things, let's say. So how do they pay? Upwork and other Upwork pays in dollars because it's a worldwide platform. It pays in dollars. Again, you'll have the conversion fees, and it converts in your local currency, and you can withdraw it. Nowadays, Upwork is also allowing for direct bank transfers. So I'm sorry, just a minute. Direct bank transfers, which is making it very, very easy to directly withdraw money from Upwork to your bank account.
Ambika, we have 5 minutes left. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. 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 So money again depends how to decide on your profile rate. Go search for other profiles, check the same skills and experiences that you've got there, and decide how to set your profile rate. Okay, I think we can quickly skip this one. Limitations, as I said, there are a lot of benefits to freelancing than limitations, but few limitations if we have to go through. There is no guaranteed income. We have to continuously search for jobs, search for projects. Nobody is going to come always to you and say, we have a project, will you work? No, you have to go on continuously and search for things. So that is time consuming, but once you get the grip of it, the hold of it, it's a never ending process. And choosing clients carefully, this is only applicable for the freelancing platforms like Upwork. SEO you test, the clients are already verified, so there's no need to choose from them. And you don't get to have the long-term benefits of a full-time job like PF or bonuses. We do get bonuses in Upwork though. I've got that a couple of times. So you do have bonuses in Upwork. How do we sustain? So you just have to keep your profile updated, devices updated, keep learning, uh, be open to feedback. If there was a feedback from any client, any customer about your style of working, which was not good or which was good, try to continue it, try to keep it as it is, and plan ahead. If there is a project which is ending, plan ahead and see that and start applying to other projects beforehand, not that you end the project and then you start to apply after it. Do's and don'ts. I think we have covered most of them. The only one thing, especially that I would say, please maintain transparency when you're working. Transparency is very, very important. Saying no is important. Saying yes is important. only to the things that you can do. So maintain good communication with the people whom you're working, because again, you are your own boss. Nobody is managing you. There is no manager to take care of your work. You are managing your work. So be responsible for what you do. Have your conscience right, and whatever, if it's a yes or a no, tell the client upfront. You can do it or you cannot do it. Priorities are also important there. Okay, same. This is what I follow. Commitment. Commitment as in commit to the work that you're doing. Proper communication, transparency, and what value you are providing to the customer. Note, I have already given you all the word of caution there. These are all my own experiences. They might or might not work for you, but please note that there are advantages and disadvantages both involved. So uh, take care of all the things carefully.